Howdy, it's Matt, and in this episode you're going to join me for another workshop ramble, in short, and we are going to be looking at the Genesis flying wing. Now, those of you which have not seen this, what I will do in the top right hand corner is put a link to the unboxing for this. It's a £35 or $45 wing. In short, which is absolute fantastic value for money, and while I've not been and flown mine yet, is that I already know that these wings fly fantastically well. Dave's got one, Andrew's got one. Turns out even Phone Dave has been and gone and got himself one, because they are just such fantastic value for money. Now, I haven't done any video footage on this wing or instruction videos yet for YouTube, so this is why I'm doing this one, because I want to bring you up to speed with where I am right now. Which is, in short, what I've been and done is that it's a very, very simple build. All you basically do, if I turn it up the other way, it might be a little bit, well, actually I've just seen it on the camera, it'll be fine, is that there is one main spar which comes provided, and it's very simple. All you do is just push the spar in, put some glue in the hole. Again, you can use a variety of glues, Yoo-hoo, Piss Poor, you could use E6000 good plumbing glue, even that Gorilla Brain poo glue, which I'm not a fan of at all. It's just, yeah. Anyway, I prefer rubberized glue, and the reason why I prefer rubberized glues is because when I hit a tree, is that it doesn't crack, it just bends, you know. Anyway, putting this wing together, absolute child's play. You stick a spar in, stick some glue down the hole, you glue up the centre section, and that's it. And then again, just take some of those dress pins, as I call them, just you can buy them for a quid, those things, from a pound shop or whatever, a dollar store, and I just put pins in there just to hold the wing still, and just left it on a flat surface to dry. Now, you may actually notice that there's a few other seams in here. Now, it might pay to zoom in a touch. There we go. You may notice that there is another seam there, because there's a glass fibre rod there. There is a 4mm carbon fibre rod there. There's another 4mm carbon fibre rod there. There just so happens to be some more 4mm carbon fibre rod running all the way along the leading edges, and if I turn her up the other way round, you may notice we've got the same on here as well. There's another 4mm carbon rod there, same on the opposite side, and also across the back of here as well. One thing which I did notice, and one thing which I am going to point out which I don't like about this wing, is that what I noticed is that these wing tips were very, very flexible, and the reason for that is that with the standard setup is that you've only got one spar going across here, which then leaves this whole back corner too flexible, and the way which I've solved that is just very simply is that I put a carbon strip, a rod all the way along the front edge, and I've also been able to put a piece on the top as well, so they cross each other, and that's really stiffened up that wingtip as well, which makes me feel happier. Will it make a massive difference to flight efficiency or how it reacts? And yeah, probably not, but I don't like bendy wingtips. In short, one thing which I picked up on, what was it, the AR Stealth wing. That thing had ridiculously, well, actually it's sat right here next to me at the moment. It's actually donating parts of this wing, and as many of you know, that I really didn't like the AR Stealth wing because the wingtips were so flexible, and I put some carbon fibre strip in each side, and that really did stiffen up those wingtips, because that one was really flexing right across here, across the servo. It was not a good position to be in, so that has stiffened that up, and that's what I've been and done on this wing. Now, my goal for this wing is to try and keep everything integrated inside. Get off! There's a little fly on there. Anyway, I've been mounted the servo. Very, very simple process. All you do is take a craft knife. Well, what I do is masking tape, which is, you know, the stuff, just the decorators masking tape, that stuff. Okay, fantastic for marking stuff out on foam, because you can just get some tape, stick the tape on roughly where you think things should be. Then you can go and get your set square out, you can go and get your ruler out, and give you a little tip here, is that servo down here, in fact I want you to zoom in to make the point, if I choose zoom it the right way, is that servo is perpendicular exactly 90 degrees to the rear surface. So when I put on the elevon down the back of here, is that the control horn and the push rod will be exactly 90 degrees to it. Now again, I was aiming to be up in the middle here. I think it was supposed to be about 9 inches to hit about the middle, but yeah, it was pushing too much weight towards the back of the wing, where I started to feel uncomfortable, and that little spot there seemed to be pretty good. And the reason why that spot there seemed to be pretty good is because when I turned it up the other way round, there's the servo hole, and it was just in front of that other glass fibre rod which we had, so it meant it was easier to get the cables through the bottom. Now you will notice that, sorry, let me get back. Marked out where I wanted the servo to go, matched it up exactly on the opposite side. Again, this is one of the beauties of using tape. I can turn this round. It's just using masking tape before I'd been and painted it, so I knew where that servo goes. And just matched it up just with tape, and then once I was happy I had both in exactly the same position, then I got the craft knife out, cut out where I wanted it to be, used a little pair of long nose pliers and plucked them out. And again, if you want to see a video on that, I'll put a link in the top right hand corner, whichever side it is, so that you can go and see the video on that, because it's a very simple process, and once you've done it once, you'll end up being able to do it for other things like the video transmitter hole here. Oh, I didn't mention the motor mount, piece of piss, just a couple of bits of plywood, stick it on, loads of glue. It's too much glue in my case, and that was really straightforward. And you'll notice there's some wires hanging off the back, and that's because I was hanging it on the washing line to spray paint it. We'll get to the spray in a moment. What I have done, you'll notice that there's no wire hole on the top to get to the video transmitter. That's because I heated up a hex screwdriver, and there is actually a hole which goes all the way from over here down into down here, which then means that I can run the cables within inside the wing itself. Again, trying to keep a nice smooth surface on the top. You'll notice that I have cut out a hole here in the middle. Why have I cut a hole out here in the middle? In short, iNav. We are going to be fitting iNav on this wing, and you'll notice that I've also got the GPS unit here on the side. Now I'm not going to peel that off just yet, because I do notice, I will give you, I don't know if you can see this on the camera, it does appear to be a little bit patchy, and again that's to be expected after the first coat. I will give it a second coat of spray paint. Now I'm not using any kind of special spray paint, but I will give you a massive tip. Okay, so this is from Holford's. Let me zoom in so you can see it. To a car company here in the United Kingdom. There we go, it's Holford's. And a massive tip for you on a wing like this is that if you spray it with just the cheapest white primer you can get your hands on, is that any dirt marks or any glue marks or discoloration, maybe because you can see the carbon fibre rod underneath the wing, for example, if you put a primer down on it, yes, it does add an extra few grams, but it does mean that you, when you go and put another colour on top, so again I've just got another Fiat red orange, and by the way it's been a proven fact that red is the fastest colour when it comes to RC models, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, look back for the EF Extra series. Anyway, my point being, just cheap car spray paint seems to work great, and again if you're unsure if it's going to work, just spray it in a inconspicuous place on the, maybe on the bottom of the wing, just make sure the foam doesn't melt. And yeah, if you put a base layer of white primer down first, when you put a top layer on, is that you do get a much truer, consistent colour on the top. And you're catching me right now, again we're underneath a very, very bright light here, and you can see some of the patchiness on here. It does stand out, but don't forget, I will give it another coat on top, and then by the time we put some laminate on top of this on top of this wing, is that you won't notice the patchiness. It will disappear. Excuse me. Right, now moving on. Yeah, I've got an ESC bay here which I've cut out as well. Again, holes will be the main power leads will go straight down here into this bay. Again, I've just melted out with a blowtorch. Let me show you. I bought this off Amazon. I can't remember how much for. Wicked little toy. As you can imagine, I've had lots of fun with that, and all you do is just heat up the end and jab it where you want it to go. Great fun, but do it outside because it melting foam, EPP foam, absolutely stinks. Otherwise you'll smoke your office out. That's where I am basically. I haven't cut the battery bay out yet. One thing which I'm waiting for, again, I'm making this video right now, as soon as I've made this video for you, to give you an update on the Genesis wing, is that I'll get the 3D printer going. In fact, actually, what I'm going to quickly do is turn that printer on, and I'm going to go and get the camera bay. Actually, that's making too much noise. Let's turn that back off again. So I'm half deaf and I can still hear those fans going around. Anyway, I am going to print off a Hardcore 44 nose mount up here, and then we'll get the battery bay sorted and cut out as well. I will be, like I said, I will be putting iNav in this one, not because of the return to home features, it is more of the stability feature. This is why I'm after iNav, is because, it is a, what was it, a 1.2 meter wingspan or whatever it was, so it's going to be more or less affected by wind than, say, a bonsai, for example. But anything just to take the edge off, again, flying FPV makes it a far more enjoyable experience. So, and of course, with the GPS unit in the side, we've got the brain switches so that we can bring the model home if we need to. So, right, what's happening from here in short? I need to go and get that nose piece printed off so I can get that installed. We'll then work out where the battery bay is going to go, and we'll give her a second coat of paint, and then she's pretty much then ready for laminate. And the second she's ready for laminate, what I will do is hit the record button on the video camera, and we'll stand here together and we will get this wing laminated. Give you a heads up, it's not a quick process, but it is not a hard process at all, and I mean that genuinely at all. Laminating, especially flying wings, is actually really easy to do. There's only a few oddities, or just a few basic tips which you need to know about, and once this wing is ready, I will do the laminating video so we can laminate this wing together, and it is really straightforward, and I'll go through all the details with you there and then in that episode. So if that's something which you're interested in, don't forget to press the subscribe button underneath this video. If you have any questions or comments about anything about to do with the setup of the Genesis wing, remember this was a £35 wing or $45 wing, super cheap to say the least. And again, I got mine sent to me without the battery bay being cut, which is happy days, exactly what I wanted. And one thing which I will be doing is using a little bit of core flute with a few carbon strips, just to make the base underneath here, and I'll put that on after I've put maybe some stripes here on the wing. And the reason why I put it on afterwards is then I don't end up covering it with spray paint, so that'll be some white core flute which I'll cut out for the bottom bay. And anyway, carrying on. I know I'll get asked this. Corona 238MG servos is what I've got in the wings. Why those servos is because they were in my servo box. In short, they were 3.8 kilos of torque, so completely excessive for this wing. And I genuinely, at this present moment in time, I don't really have an idea on what propeller and motor I'm going to stick on the back of it yet. I've still not given that any thought at all. So don't know just yet. So anyway, from myself, Matt, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. Well, like I said, it's a workshop ramble. I'm just keeping you updated on the builds which are going on here at the moment, and this is part way through the build of the Genesis wing, and it's looking pretty cool so far. So with that said, from myself, Matt, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you again shortly. Cheerios!